Hey folks, Green Stuff Gav here. We're back with another unboxing from the Warhammer Combat Patrol magazine. If you weren't aware, it's Combat Patrol is a magazine by Hatchet Part Works, which is a weekly subscription where you pay I believe it's $9.99 a week for some magazines, which will get you the Combat Patrol sets from Warhammer 40,000. It be Combat Patrol being like Warhammer 40k, but with less rules and complications and set army lists. And they do it so, yeah, you get every week you get a new magazine, teach you the rules, teach you how to build, paint. And generally, it's quite good for beginners into the hobby. So I subscribe to these, so we get a month's worth all at once. Some of these are already been out and gone because Hatchet apparently can't ship to subscribers before anyone else. Yeah, so we'll see what we've got. Yeah, right. So we've got 11, 12. Some brushes, we'll come back to them. 13 and 14. All right, start with the brushes. Whether you get all of these or whether these are for subscribers, I honestly don't know. But let's have a look. So we have got a base brush, a dry brush, and a layer brush. Quite nice. I believe the STC brushes by Games Workshop are supposed to be quite good quality. Not sure why. Oh, large base brush. Well, that would be useful. Yeah, quite cool. Nice to get brushes. Issue 11. We have got Lead Belcher, which is a really nice dark medium metal. And we've got Corax White, which is a nice base colour. It's off-white Corax. Let's see what we get in this week's issue. How to paint using the paints we've got. So this is something they do which I really appreciate. Is these are like almost like standard hobbyist paint quality. So they're not heavy metal, but they're basic. And they're using the colours that we've already received in the issues. You see we're going through different minis. This is where we should end up at the moment. Some background story time, or some backgrounds to the Mechanicus. Ooh, I like that. I've not seen that before. Dreadnoughts are a big favourite of mine. That's totally Lamenters yellow. Ignore the Imperial Fist. Ready to receive the sarcophagus. That's cool. I like that. About Tyranids. Nice. Actual story time. Right, rules. How the command phase works and what you do in it. How objectives work. And we've got a scenario with how to set up, how to play. Cool. Then cut out objectives and markers if you really want that way. See the next couple of issues. Terminators 13 and 14. Talk to which. Alright, 12 and 13 even. One squad of Terminators. Or half. So these came in the latest 40k starter set. were quite known for being remarkably bigger than the Terminators have been before. I'm not entirely sure how posable they are, but these nubs can come off to repose arms easy enough. I don't suspect there's many options by the look of it. But there is the opportunity. So like you see the Stormbolters come in halves. So you could theoretically bolt a special weapon onto there. The assault cannon. These pegs would be very difficult for getting the heads in. Not sold on that. But lovely clean models as per usual. Let's see what we got. Issue 12, part 1 of 2. Terminators. How to build. So this will assume you'll need sprues from 12 and 13. Because if you haven't subscribed and you've missed one, you've dipped out. Let's glue your dudes together. About the Space Marines. Titus, Ultramarine from Space Marine 2. That was one of the army sets recently that got lambasted because it's pretty awful. I'd say Battle Shock, so we're on rules now. What happens if you fail Battle Shock? And a new scenario. So we've got Furnace, Librarian, Terminator, Captain, Barbicorns, Prime, Leapers, Termagants. How turns play out. So again, this is really good for explaining how to sort of actually play the game, especially for anyone that hasn't played before. How to play. Examples of armies. All the Ultramarines. Then we'll see Terminators, and then more paints come in. Funny enough, rest of the Terminator squad. So, as expected, there's no actual options with the squad. You can only have assault cannon, which makes me sad. If this is different from the stock kit, I don't know. If these are like easy builds, which I suspect. I haven't really kept up with Space Marines. Sergeant comes with Foot on Rock, which we'll have to cut off, because these might be joining the Lamenters. Just maybe. And then a girt load of bases, which no one cares. Issue 2, Terminators. So that's off the starter set. Let's paint your aforementioned Terminators using the paints that we've received so far. So we can see, again, they're not like award-winning, but they're nice and neat, and this is certainly achievable for anyone, really. And I like that. I like the effort. I like all the effort. This is cool, how they create a Space Marine. And story time. So, as noted, they tend to write, when you get a new squad, some background, so you can roll on the chart. Then a name, which there was a chart earlier on. Build, paint, and play with them at least once. And again, this didn't need to exist, but it does. And I'm glad of it, because it's always nice to add a character rather than just be generic. Combat Patrol data sheet. So these are slightly different to normal 40k data sheets. But +1 hit over the moment, guys. Which we don't have yet, apparently. But Yeah, so these are going to be slightly different because they're global combat patrol, but again, there's quite set armies and quite set rules, but good for checking. How leaders can join squads. You can only attach one unit to the unit. How librarian rules work. How Terminator captain works. New scenario. So that's still no Terminators, but I presume they deep strike in. Yes. Cool. We know we've got paints coming, and then we got the psychophage. So that's going to be next month. As mentioned, final issue is paints. We got the lovely Screamer Pink. That's a really nice deep, where you can just add other pinks to it. And Rakarth Flesh, which I really like. This is really good for like purity seals and parchments and that. And because it's base, it goes over black. Issue 14, I imagine we're going to have a load on using these two paints. Using Rakarth Flesh for purity seals. Apparently, the captain's cloak as well. Using the Screamer Pink on the Tyranids. So again, this is where we should be with our paints. Nobody expects the Imperial Inquisition. My faction of choice, the Inquisition. Old Cotias model of interest. That's been replaced well before this. Whereas the other two are current. Oath of Moment. It's just background. More background. And we're getting into a bit more of a game here, so we're rolling off to see who deploys. Deployment stuff, how infiltrators work. So we're getting more and more into actual, they're introducing rules. So holding objective markers, which is really nice. Example of how to move and shoot. What happens with the victories. And then finally, we got the Psychophage, Memphis Red, lovely colour, Squig Orange, which I've not used. But those are going to be two of next month's. Yeah, obviously, if you can get both issues, the Terminators are really good value for money. Paint's not so much. But so I think you lose a touch on the paints because they're what, a few quid a piece. So when you call a tenner an issue, they're not great value for money. But like I say, it's worth keeping an eye on your local newsagents, Asda, Tesco. Yeah, 12 and 13 are the issues you're looking out for. But all in all, thanks for watching. And as always, have fun.